12 stories. The knowledge, clarity, and insight you have been waiting for.
Episode 6. Wait. Before we start, standing disclosure, and this week it needs a paragraph. 6 of this episode's 12 stories involve Anthropic, whose AI tools were used in the production of this show. We have known contacts there. Our editorial decisions are made independently. Anthropic has no role in what we report or how we report it. No individual at Anthropic is named. 6 stories. That number is not an editorial choice. It is the accurate picture of this week. Anthropic is in the headlines every day. Downplaying that density would be a distortion, not a safeguard. One of those 6 stories runs Anthropic unfavorable. It stays in, unsoftened. 12 stories, 1 week. Here's what happened.
Story 1. AI money entered politics. A super PAC called the Guardrails Alliance formed this week around Democratic operatives with tech worker and union backing. It has raised $5 million toward a $15 million goal. Its counterpart, the Leading the Future PAC, aligned with lighter AI regulation, operates on a budget of over $100 million. In a New York congressional primary this week, the 12th district, days before Tuesday's vote, AI-related super PACs have poured over $20 million into the race, for and against a single AI safety candidate. And the largest single source of money in that race is Anthropic. It gave $20 million to a group called Public First Action, which spent roughly $11 million backing the AI safety candidate, which puts Anthropic on the pro-regulation side against the lighter touch PAC. That's capital aimed at moving the law toward its own policy position. Given our standing disclosure, we flag it directly. In a Wall Street Journal interview, Microsoft's Satya Nadella warned against a world where companies cede their value to, in his words, a few models that eat everything they see, and said, the political economy will simply not tolerate it. The reporting points to the 2 leading frontier labs as his targets. The shape of AI politics this week. Organized money, 2 positions, and the largest lab in the frame funding the side that wants more rules, not fewer. The money organized around a question: who writes the rules? Story 2. Anthropic is co-writing the rules it's also subject to. After the export control standoff, the freeze this show covered last episode, the 2 sides shifted. The White House and Anthropic are now co-developing the framework that will define how AI security risk gets measured. The Commerce Department issued the original export controls and is in the talks. The rule writing itself is White House-led. That is, the company most directly subject to federal AI enforcement, helping author the yardstick its competitors are also measured by. The G7 position that governments should set AI rules is a general industry view. It is not specific to this arrangement and is not being reported as an Anthropic win. The models at the center of that conversation have been offline for 2 weeks. Story 3. The Freeze. Day 14. Fable 5 and Mythos 5 remain offline. Restoration is unconfirmed. New this week, President Trump said on the record that the models were reported by, in his words, a competitor and a part owner. He did not name the company. Separate reporting identifies it as Amazon, Anthropic's largest investor, and, through its Nova model line, a direct competitor in the same market. A detail reported by Bloomberg, June 19th. Some early testers in Anthropic's Glasswing program reportedly retained access after public access was cut. No individuals are named here. Now, the claim that circulated widest this week, that one of Anthropic's models broke into nearly all classified NSA infrastructure within hours. Here is the accurate version. The model was Mythos. The setting was a sanctioned U.S. security exercise, Project Glasswing, designed to find and fix vulnerabilities. and broke into is Senator Warner's shorthand. According to a U.S. official speaking to the AP, Mythos identified weaknesses across nearly all of those classified systems in hours, but did not necessarily exploit them. The account is second-hand, Warner relaying NSA Director Rudd's testimony, and no agency has formally confirmed the broke-in characterization. Warner's own point in raising it was not praise. He argued that a country can't build its security on the discretion or the luck of whichever company reaches a capability first. That's his case for statutory testing mandates. Thank God it was Anthropic, he said, and then said that's exactly why it shouldn't come down to which company gets there first. On restoration, the path back runs through identity verification, a government ID and a selfie through a provider called Persona for US users, and that mechanism becomes available July 8th. But no restoration date has been announced. July 8th is when the door could open, not when it does. Story 4. The largest IPO in recorded history and the financing web underneath it. SpaceX went public this month, ticker SPCX. 1S1 consolidates the launch business, Starlink, xAI and its Grok model, and a semiconductor operation. Approximately $75 billion raised. Valuation, approximately $1.77 trillion. Inside the S1, a disclosure that is not a footnote. Anthropic pays SpaceX $1.25 billion per month for compute on the Colossus and Colossus II data centers, the same facilities where xAI trains Grok. The lease is terminable on 90 days' notice by either party. That is, competitor-as-landlord. Anthropic's core AI infrastructure runs, in part, on facilities owned by a direct rival, on terms either side can break in a quarter. The financing web goes further. The SpaceX Reflection deal, $6.3 billion, has NVIDIA on both sides, as an investor in Reflection and as a SpaceX partner. And the memory maker Micron sits in that same web 3 ways at once. It supplies memory into the AI build-out. It's a customer running Anthropic's Claude across its own operations, and it's an investor in Anthropic. The terms of that investment are undisclosed. This is not a finding unique to Anthropic. It is the shape of the industry. The same capital, the same infrastructure, the same counterparties circulating through most of the field at once. Story 5. The talent moved. Noam Shazeer joined OpenAI. John Jumper, Nobel laureate, the architect of AlphaFold, joined Anthropic. Two of the field's most consequential researchers moving in a single week. Alphabet stock fell 5 to 6% over the same stretch. The verifiable core. The hires are confirmed. The market moved. The narrative that DeepMind has conceded the race traces to a single, unconfirmed social media post and is not sourced here. The stock movement is not attributed to any specific departure. What is verifiable? Frontier AI talent is concentrating in fewer places. Story 6. Chinese open-weight models are gaining on the scoreboard. On OpenRouter, a platform tracking AI model usage in real time, Chinese open-weight models are seeing rapid uptake. This week, GLM 5.2, a Chinese open-weight model, outperformed Claude Opus 4.8 on real-world coding tasks in 2 independent checks, leading on cost efficiency and on specific front-end tasks. Here's the full shape of it, and neither half is shaded. The unfavorable half, stated plainly, a cheap, open-weight Chinese model is now beating the frontier on real tasks. The qualifier that keeps it accurate runs the other way. Opus 4.8 holds the structural lead on long-horizon autonomous work by double digits on the hardest benchmarks, about 20 points clear on NL2 repo, a repository-scale coding test, and 13 on SWE Marathon, a multi-step agentic one. Both are true at once. Separately, Anthropic is accusing Alibaba's Quen team of illicitly distilling its models, training on Anthropic's outputs without authorization. That is Anthropic's accusation. It has not been independently confirmed. Story 7. AI is starting to design biology, but not the way the phrase sounds. This week, a lab at the Arc Institute, Brian High's group, released something called Proto. It's worth being precise about what it is, because the easy version is wrong. Proto is not a single AI that dreams up DNA from scratch. It's a framework, closer to a high-level programming language, that orchestrates existing specialized tools, many of them open, including Google DeepMind's AlphaGenome. It lets a researcher compose those tools to design across DNA, RNA, and protein in one place. The leap is access and integration, not a new generative brain. What it actually proved in the lab is narrow and real. 2 demonstrations, both in human cells, a cell-type-specific RNA splicing design and synthetic DNA protein switch pairs that worked after testing only tens of candidates. The full DNA to RNA to protein span is the design space it can reach for, not a result it has validated. The authors are unusually blunt about the ceiling. The system is only as good as the models it already has to work with. It's not meant to replace experiments, and the version where you simply tell it to design a therapeutic is, in their words, a pipe dream with huge strides to go. A second data point, handled carefully. A company called Nobel Bio reports designing multifunctional antibodies in a matter of weeks. That's Nobel's own account. An independent review credited the speed, but noted the validation was largely computational. Company reported, not established, and not this week's news. The honest stake here is not a machine that designs a pathogen. Nothing in this work points there. It's accessibility. Tools like these lower the barrier to designing biology, which is the point of them, and also the part worth watching. The playing field gets more level, for the benign work this was built for, and, in time, for whatever else. Story 8. A frontier chatbot outscored virologists on knowledge, and the line that matters is about design. Recently, not this week, but just behind it, OpenAI expanded a biodefense program and a life sciences model called GPT-Rosalind, working with partners including Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, CEPI, and Lawrence Livermore on the government side, and biosecurity and DNA synthesis screening groups on the other. The signal worth flagging is independent. Secure Bio, an outside evaluator, put GPT 5.5, a general-purpose model, through the virology capabilities test. It scored at the 100th percentile against human domain experts, with no refusals, the first OpenAI model to reach that mark, the second frontier model overall, after Gemini 3.1 Pro. Here's where it connects to what we just saw. That score is knowledge. On the tasks closest to actually engineering a pathogen, design, sequence, construct generation, the model was weakest. A general-purpose chatbot can now carry an expert's worth of virology facts, but it cannot do the design. The design progress is happening somewhere else entirely, in the specialized, composed systems like the one a moment ago, not in the chatbot. So the novel bioweapon threshold has not been crossed. What Secure Bio flagged instead is the open question: how well the safeguards hold up against highly motivated expert actors trying to work around them remained uncertain. A leading indicator with the guardrail question still open, not an outcome. Story 9. Cervical cancer has hit 0 in a generation of young women in England. The Lancet reports, among women aged 20 to 24 in England, deaths from cervical cancer have fallen to 0, a 100% reduction across 2020 to 2024, against the roughly 23 deaths models had expected. The cause is HPV vaccination. England's program began in 2008, and an estimated 200 deaths have been prevented since. This is the vaccinated generation reaching the age where the cancer would have started to show, and it hasn't. One honest caveat travels with the win. Vaccination coverage has since slipped to around 72% in the relevant school year, below the level the WHO sets for elimination. The result is real. Holding it is not guaranteed. Story 10. An AI read an ECG, found what clinicians missed, and it's now cleared for use. This month, EchoNext, an AI tool, received its first FDA clearance, detecting structural heart disease from ordinary ECG data. The validation behind it, published in Nature last year, is the striking part. EchoNext flagged heart conditions that clinicians had missed, and it outperformed a panel of 13 cardiologists, 77% accuracy against their 64% across more than 3,000 readings. In one documented case, the finding it surfaced led to a heart transplant. Story 11. The first mRNA flu vaccine is at the FDA's door. This month, an FDA advisory panel voted 9-0 that the benefits of Moderna's mRNA flu vaccine outweigh its risks for adults 50 and older. A full FDA decision is expected by early August. If it clears, it would be the first mRNA flu vaccine licensed in the United States, the platform proven in the pandemic moving into seasonal disease. The basis: a Phase 3 trial in more than 40,000 people found the mRNA shot about 27% more effective than a standard dose flu vaccine in older adults. Two honest caveats ride with that. It's measured against the standard dose shot, not the high-dose and adjuvanted versions doctors often prefer for the oldest patients. And the application hit an FDA refusal to file earlier this year before the panel's turnaround. Story 12. The robots are moving better. Boston Dynamics, Hyundai, and others released demonstration footage this week. Humanoid robots and quadrupeds moved with more precision and stability than comparable demos from a year ago. These are demonstrations. They are not deployed systems.
The distance between AI as a technology and AI as a fact in the world has been shrinking for years. This week, it ran out. It's in the electoral math, in the regulation, in the biology lab and the cardiology wing, and a vaccination program begun in 2008 that just delivered what it promised. The robots in the warehouse are still doing demos. The rest of this is already in the world.
12 stories. The knowledge, clarity, and insight you have been waiting for.